feeling overwhelmed, unappreciated, and frustrated in your life? Are you reaching for more pills, buying bigger clothes, and you're really wanting to boost your energy? Well, I'm Angel Marie Monticelli, and I'm your personal energy expert. And I can help you eliminate negative energy, get unstuck, and then also discover how you can boost your energy in 30 seconds or less. Using simple techniques, you can be able to turn this on, turn it off, any place, anywhere that you want. So message me now so that we can get together and I can help you through another day with more energy, confidence, and joy. Oh, wonderful. Thank you and welcome to Your Time to Shine International Interview Series. We're in Season 3, Episode 34. Holy moly, how did the time go so fast? But greetings, and it's great to see you. I have the honor, I have the blessing of being able to interview people that are shining all over the world. And you know, I've had my neighbor on. It's you. Because you show up and you shine. So thank you. And I am your host, Angel Marie. And I'd like to tell you a little story about me. And thank you so much for allowing me to do that. And just imagine you're in grammar school and your teacher calls your mom and says, hey, Angel probably won't be able to make it through high school, let alone go to college. Wow. And then you find out later you're dyslexic. And on top of that, you're diagnosed with lupus, fibromyalgia, arthritis, and Sjogren's. You're backing up saying, whoa. And then you almost die, not once, not twice, not 3 times, 4 times in your life. It really takes you back. And having to take these major drugs that give you severe side effects and give also the results in depression, low self-esteem, low self-worth. I went through all that. And then it happened. I studied the power of energy and studied the power of nutrition and studied the power of mindset. And what happened, and once I combined all 3 of those, it was like a miracle. I found a way to raise my energy naturally without drugs. And within 30 seconds, yes. And that's why I'm so stuck on that one too, is energizing you, right? So now I'm able to help thousands of people all over the world raise their energy naturally and within 30 seconds or less. So that's why I am called a personal energy expert. And thank you so much for being here, because we have an amazing guest that's going to be coming on, that's going to be giving you golden nuggets and also a free gift. So are you ready? Drum roll, drum roll. Well, here we go, all the way from Phoenix, Arizona. Lynn Murphy, welcome.
Thank you, Angel. It is just such a blessing, such a delight to be here with you today and to feed on that wonderful energy that you're putting out. Thank you so much for sharing that and for inviting me on today.
You are so welcome. And you know, I know how amazing you are. I've known you for years. And we're going to get to how much we really know each other. But yet the viewers, they would like to know a little bit more about you and what and who you are. Not what you do, but who are you?
Who am I? Well, you said I was from Phoenix. I'm a wife of almost 46 years, and we're going to celebrate our anniversary in June. We knew each other for a while before we got married, and we only dated 3 months before we ran off and got married to the Justice of the Peace.
I think that's funny how you put that. You ran off, and you had to, I guess, huh?
Yeah, well, you know, we weren't pregnant, but we decided we were going to get married. So I've got a wonderful, loving, supportive husband. So, you know, I'm a wife and I'm a sister and I have wonderful friends. I just, you know, I'm so in love with people and with helping people and with meeting new people like you and meeting the people on your show today. This is just such a thrill, Angel. Thank you.
You're so welcome. And, you know, I want to laugh for a second because I know your story and how you met your husband and what happened, because you came to one of my Shine On Saturdays. Yes. And in that Shine On Saturday, you told the story, and it's very intriguing, but we're not going to get into that right now. what I do want to talk about right now is for the listeners also, you can tell I'm queuing some stuff up right now. Come on. There we go. My first question for you is how do you show up and shine for yourself personally every day? How do you, like what inspires you? What is your why? How do you do this?
Oh, such good questions, Angel. And some of that is just kind of naturally how I roll. I mean, every day I've got a gratitude journal. Every day as I'm going to bed, I'm either writing in my journal or I'm and falling asleep thinking, what am I grateful for today? And I'm really focusing on all the blessings in my life. I'm really a very calm person, and I have been studying spiritual things. I mean, spiritual being is who I am, as you know. We all are spiritual beings. And so I have wonderful associations with people who feed that in me, who we can share back and forth like you and I do, about being these spiritual beings. And so, I love nature. I love hiking. Even when I'm working from home, like so many people are doing now, I'll take breaks and just walk around the backyard. And we've got beautiful backyard with flowers and citrus and just gorgeous setting. And I'll feel the plants and I'll maybe pick a couple weeds and just touching those plants and just being connected with nature in that very little way. And then hiking or just walking around the neighborhood. I love just feeling connected with nature, whether it's 110 degrees like it is here in Phoenix in the summer, or 50 degrees, it doesn't matter. Just something about being outside, and you'll get a kick out of this. I am not a gym rat. I just do not like doing things inside with a bunch of other sweaty people. so so I'll go outside. We hike, like I said, when it's 110 degrees here. We just do it safely. Lots of water and how we dress and lots of sunblock. But, just being connected with nature and being connected with people and being careful of the people that I connect with. Because there are people over the years that I've had to say, no more. You're just not part of my life anymore. You and I don't resonate anymore. And there have been a lot of people like that over the years.
Yes.
That is just, no.
Time out. It's really understanding and knowing yourself. But I'd like to reiterate what Lynn said so you really get her golden nugget. She does a gratitude journal. Very powerful. And then giving thanks as she's going outside and going in nature. Very powerful. And even if it's 5 minutes that you walk. And here in Phoenix, we walk really early in the morning usually, or hike, because it does get too hot. I really want viewers to take that in and adopt that if you haven't, because many of you are rolling out of bed and just getting on the computer. Please stop, get up a half an hour, 45 minutes early, sweat if you need to, or it's cold where you're at, just do it. So thank you so much for that. I appreciate it.
Thanks.
So please, what's a fun fact about you?
A fun fact about me. Well, I told you I've been married for 46 years after 3-month courtship. Well, let's see. I got my education in teaching. So I used to teach, got a master's degree in education, and I taught 4th and 5th grade for 2.5 years.
Oh, I didn't know that. That's a fun fact. Okay.
Well, and so what's interesting about that, Angel, is that I grew up always wanting to be a teacher. My sister wanted to be a nurse, and she wanted to be a fireman, and she wanted to be, horseback. She wanted to be Annie Oakley. I always wanted to be a teacher. And I did. I went to school, got to be a teacher, and then got sitting in the classroom. Well, mostly it was in the teacher's lounge because I loved the classroom. But in the teacher's lounge, it was like, I'm not sure this is really for me. And then, my career path took a couple different turns. But over 20 years ago, I founded this company, Key Innovative Solutions, where I'm teaching adults. And so I go into corporations and we play. I go in there with colorful things and smelly pens and the squeeze toys, and people kind of look at me like, okay, this is different. And I love teaching adults, and a lot of times these adults don't even want to learn. It's like, mandatory. You will be in this training. And I had one feedback sheet one time from a mandatory training that said, this wasn't as agonizing as I expected. Yes. I thought that was great praise.
That is so wonderful. And, I'm going to just piggy on that because I always wanted to be a teacher, and I started going to school. And just being in the classes and listening to the other people that were teachers, some of them were teachers still getting their, and listening to all of them, I never finished it. I got out of it because I was like, I don't think this is for me. That all they do is complain, and it doesn't seem, so I didn't do it. But yet, what am I doing with being the professional energy expert? I help people that I teach them how to connect to their energy. So I get you, and you're doing it corporate wise, and I do that too. But that is so awesome. Thank you. I appreciate that. Yay.
So here's your next. Like I'm on my path, It just took a while.
Well, let's see. If you could turn back time and you could talk to your 18-year-old. Now, you don't know about some of these questions I'm throwing at you.
Okay.
And you could talk to your 18-year-old. What would you tell him? What would you tell Lynn at 18 years old? What would you tell her?
I would tell her that she is worthy, that she can do what she wants to do, and that she doesn't have to take a back seat because she's a woman, or because her parents didn't have a lot of money, or because whatever, because that I thought at 18 years old. I probably would look at different options for myself, even though here I ended up a teacher, which is exactly what I wanted to be. But I probably wouldn't have kind of put myself in the back seat in a lot of situations. I would have told myself, speak up. You don't have to sit on it. You don't have to shut your mouth. There are things that you can say and ways that you can say them, but you don't have to put up with the crap. Because, a woman in business for years, you know how that goes. And, when I look back at that, it was kind of the era that I grew up in, I guess, that was the way the girls did, and even girls when we were adults did.
It's true.
And I would say, don't have to do that.
Oh,
because as I've gotten older, I can't keep my mouth shut. If something crosses me, I'm not nasty or angry or reaching out, but I'll call somebody on it. And I wish I'd learned that earlier, but I learned it.
Ooh, that's a great golden nugget, viewers. And I just want to say too, is you are the most elegant, classy lady that I know. So when you just said that, when you said that you wouldn't do it unkindly, it's like Lynn cannot do any of, and this is what I love about Lynn, is because Lynn will call me on it, but it's done in such a way you're like, wait. So it is done in such a beautiful manner. So I just want to say that. So thank you for that, Lynn.
Well, I do stand up for myself.
Yes. And I'm glad that you do. And, I'm loving how this is going. And this is wonderful golden nuggets that you're giving and you're sharing. But you know what? Wait, we got to hear from our sponsor. So we'll be right back after this. Shout out to Preston Marley all the way out of Canada for his amazing websites, marketing, and strategy. Him and Sony Jackson work together, and I've been with them for a really long time. So take a look. They're awesome. And if you're waiting and wanting a new website, get in touch with Preston. He'll help you out. So we're back now with Lynn all the way from Phoenix, Arizona. And some great golden nuggets. So thank you so much. So here's another, and I think we finished that one.
I think so.
Okay, so let's go on to the next one, which is what struggles have you had when you weren't shining so bright?
I think it was when I was not doing what I really wanted to do. For several years, I was in real estate brokerage, and I did land sales, land and lots. This was in the 80s, late 80s. And, I was working in the field where there was a lot of testosterone. And I remember at one brokerage, I don't know, there were 30 or 40 agents, and there were only 2 women brokers or sales agents. And I just did not shine there at all. I never felt like I was on my path. I didn't feel like I was doing anything to really help people. I just really, really was struggling. And I ended up going to work for a woman broker, which helped a little bit, but that was not a good time for me. It was not well, I won't say it wasn't what I was supposed to be doing, because I'm sure it was what I was supposed to be doing to learn whatever lessons it was I learned and to meet the people that I needed to meet. But that was a struggle for me, working in that kind of an environment, a sales environment, like I said, with all the testosterone. I'd listen to these guys. We were in cubes, and I'd listen to these guys come in on Monday, these young guys talking about their exploits over the weekend. And, I'm in my 30s, 40s almost, and married, and I couldn't care less about who they did and how much they drank over the weekend. And, they're just Monday morning. It was just kind of a free for all. It's like, oh, please.
So that's
not for me.
maybe one of the places that you were struggling, and you turned it because you recognized, okay, I'm not really in the energy that I want to be. Interesting enough, I was probably one of the first mechanics in the 80s, like in the beginning 80s, and I was a mechanic. And of course, a lot of testosterone. And the same thing, I never felt out of place, though. I never did.
Yeah.
And I never felt like I had to prove myself either. I was just having fun.
Yeah.
But I was the youngest one out of all of these all these guys. And then here I come along, and they're like, so I get you. But what you did was you shifted because you understood what you felt that you wanted to change.
Well, and for the longest time, I did not feel worthy to be there. I felt like I'm not doing a good job. I'm not making the connections. I'm not really where I'm supposed to be, but I didn't know where I was supposed to be. But it just, I wasn't in the groove. You probably were in the groove. You probably were enjoying what you were doing. And that made all the difference in the world. And for me at that point, I was not in the flow at all. Not at all.
Okay. Yes, I totally hear you when that happens. So tell me, how do you show up and serve others? And I want you to bring up, because how do you serve others? I know there's a big one. I'm going to grab it in a minute.
Okay. Well, for years since I started my own business, and 20 years ago, working with clients and helping people communicate. Conflict resolution is a big one. So helping people figure out how to, deal with conflict without drawing blood, and make it a productive conflict. How to communicate. I had so many clients who just did not know how to communicate, and they were stuck. So I was able to give them little nuggets of how to handle a particular situation. And then we'd go back on subsequent coaching sessions, and they'd tell me how they did, and we'd evaluate it. And then they'd use those skills and keep, working on those skills. And I had one woman who sent me an email saying she'd done her performance review with her supervisor, and her supervisor noticed the difference in her. So she said, oh, thank you so much for everything you've done to help me. So it's the interpersonal skills that I specialize in. The conflict, the communication, teamwork, how you work together, how you leverage each other's assets, and don't try and work on your weaknesses, get somebody else to do that. Figure out how to build the team so that the different assets are the ones that you work on. And then the one you're talking about, I think, is the book that I just wrote called 50 Life Lessons from Inspiring Women. There you go. And Angel, you are one of the inspiring women in this book. And, to me, this is about helping other women shine, helping people see a small piece of each of these 50 women and what they've done to overcome the adversity that they've had. And how they help others. The tagline, kind of the motto for Women Who Push the Limits, is find your voice, speak your truth, and change the world. And that's what all these women have done in the 50 women that I've interviewed. And this first book, there are more, but in this first book, shining the light on each one of these women and just a piece of their story that shows, how they've overcome this adversity and what those lessons are that others can learn from. And the stories are so diverse, Angel. You've read this. They are just all over the place.
Could you share with our viewers maybe one or two, or however? Because I think it might be because the golden nugget could come from you hearing what Lynn is going to tell and how they got through it.
Well, let me start with one woman who in the 80s had horrendous infertility issues. And she's a trained architect, historical architect. And she went through 10 years of everything you can imagine. She said she was kind of like a guinea pig and nothing worked. Everybody said, oh, adopt. And she really wanted to carry her own children. And one of the doctors said, well, there's this new thing called egg donation. And she says, oh, great. How do I do that? Doctor said, I don't know. But if you figure it out, bring here and we'll figure out how to get the egg in you. And so she researched all of this. She's kind of a scientist from the architecture standpoint. She researched all this. She found an egg donor. She got the legal documents taken care of. And it ended up having twins and then one child with egg donation. And she started a business because doctors and other people were coming to her and saying, how did you do this? Can you help me?
Yeah.
And so Diana Thomas is in this book, and she's created the World Egg Bank. And last year she created the World Egg and Sperm Bank. So she's now doing egg and sperm donation. And she's probably responsible for 5,000 babies who've been born to families who really want babies. Just an incredible way of taking that adversity and that challenge that she had in her life and turning it around to change the world. Just remarkable story on her part.
That's remarkable. Yes, it really is. And we got to do a book signing actually here in Phoenix, Arizona with her. And I got to meet her, and it is quite amazing. We want to do a shout out to everybody coming on and saying hello and commenting. Thank you so much. Please share this out because Lynn's given some great golden nuggets for sure. So please, if you would you like to do one more?
Sure. Let's do another one. One of them is, there's so many. I don't know. Shall we do Victoria? You haven't met Victoria, but Victoria's in California. Victoria Valentino and she's in her late 70s now. She was a Playboy centerfold because her husband sent in pictures of her. He then trafficked her. And then they had a child, a mixed race child. He severely abused her. And when she tried to leave with the child, he almost killed her. And then when the child was 6 years old, Bill Cosby drugged, kidnapped, and raped her 6 weeks after her child drowned. Okay, so if you look at this early life of hers, talk about adversity, talk about challenges. And what had she done with that? Well, she went on a long healing path. You can imagine that it took a long time. When she was 40, she got her nursing degree, and she has helped AIDS patients and hospice patients. So she understands death. She understands helping parents whose AIDS children are dying, and family members whose loved ones are in hospice. And she found her voice when Andrea Constant came out, filed suit against Cosby. Victoria was at every one of the 2 trials. She speaks out for sexual abuse victims. She's PAVE, PAVE is one of the organizations she's an ambassador for. And she's writing a book about, her life and how she's repurposed. She uses the word repurposed her life. So, when you think about that kind of horrible adversity and how she's turned that around to help so many people, she's spoken to international groups. She's had people come to her and say, I've never shared this with anybody. And they can share their story with her and they can start to heal from her healing journey.
And that's one thing, don't mean to interrupt, is one thing about this book is that it helps you heal, viewers, you heal, because as you read the stories in here, it will help you to push your limits and see where maybe you can come. And the wonderful thing too is everybody's information is in here.
Yeah.
So if you want to reach out to these people, and even Lynn, go ahead, and they're open to talk with you. That's how beautiful these 50 women are that are available to you. So, wow. Would you like to do one more?
Well, let's see. We could talk about a woman who was in a near fatal car accident, Carrie Portell. I mean, so these are kind of different types of things, but she was almost killed. The driver who hit her was killed. And I think she's gone through 13 or 14 surgeries in 10 years. Wow. And she wrote on Facebook yesterday or today that she is getting certified as a trauma recovery coach. Now, she's written a book about her recovery, and, it affected the whole family.
Oh, yeah.
She was not present really for several years when she was in and out of surgeries and in and out of hospitals and rehab and everything, raising 4 children. So her story is so compelling. And now she's not only speaking on an international stage and helping people that way, but she's a certified trauma recovery expert. So, to think of the horrible things that she went through and how she's repurposing her life and has found her purpose in this life to do something that's changing the world, helping people. And, and Angel, those are probably some of the most critical, but there are other people who have had, changes in their life because of maybe less severe, maybe not the physical damage, but the emotional damage.
Or the ones I'm going to interrupt because the ones that really have push the limits in a different way. Like the one lady that, what's her name? And she went up to the Mount Chimahama.
Oh, yeah. Anne Lorimer at 89 years old set the Guinness World Record for the oldest person, not the oldest woman, the oldest person to summit Mount Kilimanjaro, 19,300 feet. And she's going back to Peru this summer to hike Machu Picchu.
And is she 91 now?
Yeah, she's 91. Yeah. She'll be 92 this summer.
And I had the pleasure, the honor to meet with her and chat with her. And that was so thrilling because it really, viewers, it doesn't matter. Get up. It's not that you find this energy. It's not a find. It's igniting it because it's already in you.
Yeah.
And it's really about how you ignite your energy to keep moving. Wow.
Let me tell you, just to get on just a little different track, Sandra Dee Robinson, who some people may know as a well-known actress, a daytime soaps and interviewer. And her mother told her from the time she was born that the world would be better off if she had not been born. And so her whole acting career was about taking on someone else's persona. But when someone said to her, just be yourself, she didn't know who Sandra Dee Robinson was because she had never claimed that. So she found her voice when she stood up to raise money for abused animals and for a zoo that was taking on abused animals. And now she coaches other people to find their voice and to speak on camera and to tap into their purpose. So it's not, I mean, she's famous, she's well known, and it's not that just people like you and me who aren't, or you're maybe more well known than I am, but that we have issues. But you look at someone famous like her and think, oh, you know, what could she possibly have gone through? So, like you're saying to the viewers, it's everyone. We go through those, and it doesn't have to be a horrendous car accident. Whatever the challenge or the adversity that you have is important to you, and that, I do believe, is setting you on your purpose in your life. What can you do with that adversity to leverage it and to go through that so others don't have to go through that? I think that is so very important to look at how you can serve others.
There you go. And that is the biggest thing, is how can you serve? And this really serves in what Lynn did by interviewing all 50 and then taking the time to put this whole book together and write all of this. And I'm on page 121. Just want to throw that out there. I'm on 121, and I'm loving all of these great nuggets to help you to get through. But you know what? We do have to shift the gear just a little bit, and what's coming is we're going right now to a commercial. Here you go.
What would it feel like to have a steady flow of new paying clients every week while working less and making more money? That'd be awesome, right? We would all love to have an endless stream of clients who pay us handsomely for our expertise and work with us for years on end. Well, there is a new marketing miracle called 6-Minute Webinar technology that does just this. Go to www.6minutewebinar.com to find out how you can get access to it.
And we're going to shout out to Bill Heinrich, I'm getting an echo over here, and to also Don McGrath and Jim Grant, who came up with the 6-minute. I mean, you've been on those webinars that are like, oh my gosh, they're so long. It's like, get to the point, get to the point. This 6-minute goes right to the point. You want to check it out? Go to my website and go to the speaker, and you can find out how I energize events, in person and virtual. 6 minutes, that's all that. Just go, and you'll be amazed on how they put this together. So bam, I love it. It's way cool. So Lynn, coming back with Lynn all the way from Phoenix, Arizona. So what I wanted to ask you was, this women who push the limits, this is a movement.
Yes.
Can you tell us about, how do we get, what's going on?
Well, we're gathering women together. We've got a Facebook page. We've got a Facebook group for women to share things, to share what's going on in their lives, to share motivation. And I post motivational quotes all the time. Some of them are from women I've interviewed. Some of them I see on Facebook. And we're going to take this into webinars, coaching programs around the concepts, because so many, like Angel says, golden nuggets have come out of 75 hours of interviewing amazing 50 women. And so I want to bring those to people in these coaching programs and in webinars. So if you sign up for our on the website, sign up for the newsletter, and we will get that information to you. Sign up on Facebook, ask to join the Women Who Push the Limits group, and like our Women Who Push the Limits page. We're gathering wonderful women together who are very positive and who want to share what they have and want to have other people share their gifts, their golden nuggets, as Angel says.
I love the golden nuggets. I do. I think they're fun to say. So there's the website, or there's the Facebook.
Yes.
So if you'd like to get onto the Facebook, and I'm going to put it in the comments for everybody and for you other viewers around the world, go ahead and take that down and go into Facebook for Women Who Push the Limits and get some inspiration and hope. And I love your ones that you put on there. You put some really great ones on.
Yeah.
So
you have to look for those things. There's so much negativity around, but let's look for the positive things, that, like we were talking about, the gratitude. And I know you do that too. Look for things we're grateful for. Yes. And that's what builds. That they say that what you pay attention to is what grows, and what you notice continues to grow, that's where I'm at, is let's pay attention to all those positive things that we're doing for each other and that we're doing in our own lives, and acknowledge yourself.
Oh, that's a big one. Acknowledge yourself. And I like to say, celebrate yourself, celebrate,
Yeah.
it's time. So I understand about the movement, 75 hours of interviewing, but why did you do it? Why, just why? What inspired you, Lynn, to go, okay, I'm going to interview for 75 hours and then I'm going to take a year, 2 year, whatever it was to rewrite and put all of it together? Wow.
At the beginning, I wasn't really sure what I was going to do or how I was going to get into it. But I have to give credit to one of my coaches, Connie Deutsch, who I've coached with for over 20 years. And she's kicked my butt for years to write a book. And I wrote a little customer service book, but, I thought, everybody's written customer service books. So what? And in 2018, we were talking about the midterm elections and how women were stepping up and were fighting for change and all the things that were going on in 2018. And, what were women doing? And she said, write a book about that because you love what women are doing. You're always looking at those things.
Yeah.
And I'm sure it was some sort of divine inspiration. My guide saying, hey, interview women. And so I put that out there to the universe in one of my masterminds and got such a great response to it. Craig Duswalt's mastermind, in fact. And I remember all these women handing me cards and saying, oh, interview me or interview somebody else. You need to do this. And I remember walking up to my hotel room going, I guess I'm doing it. So, the universe kind of contrived for me to do this, and it evolved over time. How am I going to do this? Okay, I'm going to interview them. And then I start out writing a book with the topics. But what I really wanted to do was to highlight each of those 50 women and to try and tie the topics together. With 50 women, the book would have been about this thick. So I said, okay, this first one is going to be a short story about each of the women and then a tip. You're calling them golden nuggets. I was calling them tips. But what life lessons can these women share? And, Angel, I learned I just need to take it one step at a time because I was so overwhelmed when I think about how do I do it all? And, thanks to my wonderful publisher, Thea Rademacher at Flint Hills Publishing, she kept saying, the book is in you. You just have to get it out. And so to let it flow and to just take one step at a time, figure out, how I'm doing it. In fact, the first few chapters that I wrote, I ended up rewriting because, as I got through it, I thought, no, this isn't what I want to do. This is what I want to do. And I've just had to learn that I can't figure it all out at one time. Let it flow, let it come to me. Just kind of put one foot forward, keep moving forward, keep the momentum going, do something, and don't be afraid to change course. Where am I being steered?
And that's the biggest, excuse me, that's the biggest one for the viewers too. And a golden nugget is to take it. You can start out on one path. And if anybody's been watching me for long enough, I've had many paths and I'll be, oh, that didn't work. Let's go do this. And it really is a way of just saying that energy didn't serve me. I'm not doing that. Just like Lynn said earlier, the people, places, things, sometimes it just doesn't work anymore. It doesn't mean that you don't love them. Doesn't mean, it just means that energy didn't work. So really take a look at how you can step out of your comfort zone and then
Absolutely. Because boy, I've been out of my comfort zone a lot in the last couple of years. But, I take everything and I learn from it and say, okay, it's not that I did something wrong. It's just, okay, what did I learn from that? Okay, I learned to do this instead, and that this is what I wanted to do, and this is how I wanted to serve. And so, looking at what's coming up next, I maybe need to take a break and start looking at that a little bit, instead of being so overwhelmed with everything.
And you never know what you're going to, where you're going to go with that. And so what I like to ask too is, what is your best tip for making the world a better place?
Well, part of it is a couple things. Part of it is looking at what you've been through that you can use, that you can leverage to help others in the world. And another big part of that is recognizing your own worth. I've been getting that message over and over and over. Even after we published this book, 2 of the women in the book said to me, in different words, one used the word worthy, but one said, I don't feel worthy to be in this group of 49 other women. And yet her story was so compelling and so unique. So we really have to look at, I think, we're worthy. We have something to give. What is it that we have to give? And I remember one of my coaches, Paul Fink, maybe you know Paul Fink, in one of the mastermind groups we were in when I was talking about this project. And, I was holding myself back. I will never forget. He said to me, who do you think you are to withhold your gift from the rest of the world? It's like, wow. I still get tears when I think of that.
Yeah.
Who are you to withhold your gift?
Yeah.
So I say to our viewers, who do you think you are to withhold that gift that you have and to think that that gift is not good enough or that you're not worthy enough? That's how you change the world. Okay, so I'm going to stop crying now.
Yeah. And
that really touched me.
It's really a good one because we tend to play small.
We play small. I've done that. That's what I've done my whole life.
Well, and sometimes it is, and I get you viewers, sometimes it's generational. It can be generational. I get that. Yeah. Because in different eras of our time, but now is the time to not play small, but do it with kindness. And I think that's the biggest thing, is that love and the kindness that we're seeing now is so, so powerful. So, wow, I'm just, we're going to touch on so many things, and we're getting down to our last segment coming up, where we're going to get to talk about the free offer that she's going to give, the free gift. I love that part because everybody wants to get something for free always, but we do need to go to a commercial break. So we will be right back after this commercial break. Boom. Yes, it is the shine with Angel. And this is about understanding how you shine and understanding that you are a champion. And in that being the champion, you are a champion of the shine. And how you shine your light every day. So to sponsor the Your Time to Shine International Interview Series, by understanding how you shine, is powerful. And remember that you totally matter. And thank you for shining your light every day, because I see you, no matter if you're commenting or not, because I see there's quite a few people out there and you're not commenting and I don't hear from you, but I know that you're there and you are doing what? Raising your energy in such a way that it ripples out to your household, to the neighborhood, to the whole world. And that is about shining your light. So thank you for doing that. And I'm honored to be one of the sponsors of Your Time to Shine. So here we go. Going back over to Lynn. Here you go. Oh, there we go. Hello. And, I do want to do another shout out right now to the amazing E360 before we get into the last segment of the show, and to shout out, to say thank you to E360 TV that gives me the ability, to us the ability to serve. And you said it earlier, to serve not only millions, but billions of people this reaches on all kinds of platforms. So I want you to see, Lynn, if you can see my little face come out on here, and we're going to show just a little clip to celebrate Aaron, the president, who lives here in Phoenix, actually. And I've had breakfast with him and all the people that are connected to E360 that want to serve others. So here you go. Awesome. Yay. So Lynn, what's going, like, what are you giving away? This is the time, this is the segment we need to give away. So what are you giving away?
Okay, well, I'm offering to our audience today selected chapters from this book, 50 Life Lessons from Inspiring Women. It'll give you a taste. I think there are 5 or 6 different stories in there, the full-length stories. And if you will send an email to me, Lynn at womenwhopushthelimits.com. Angel's got that in the crawler there. Send me an email and I will send you a PDF copy of the selected chapters. You can see what these wonderful women are doing. And then, of course, if you'd like to buy the book, go to Amazon and buy that, Kindle or in the paperback form. But at least you get several of these chapters and get inspired from these amazing women who push the limits.
Fabulous. Awesome. Thank you for that. I so appreciate the free gift. I like to call them loyalty bonuses because people, I like those better than free. It's a loyalty bonus, and because it is a bonus and you're going to get a lot. So to the next question, let me pick a question. Let me see. Let me see. What is the best compliment you've ever received?
Ooh. Best compliment I ever received.
Wow. I'm going to let you think. I'm going to let you think about it for a second, and I'm going to tell one that just came to mind because I've never asked this question actually before. And I never, because I just, and one of the best compliments I ever got was that in a Reiki session, energy healing session, they didn't feel me at all. My energy vibration, they didn't feel me at all. They were purely in their own. And that was, to me, one of the best compliments, because in an energy healing, you really don't want to be in their energy. So that was wonderful. So did you think of one?
Well, I don't know if this is exactly a compliment, if this is what you were looking for, but the thing that popped into my mind was Joan Howard, one of the women in the book, said, "When you interviewed me, I thought this was a fluke. I'd never thought this book was going to be published. And here it is." And I'll tell you, I've known her since 1984, so I'm thinking, you're telling me you thought I was not going to do this? She has bought 45 copies of the book and has been giving them to friends and relatives. So, to me, that was a compliment that she's sharing this book with so many people when she thought it was going to be a fluke. She loves the book. She loves the story I wrote about her. She's 86 years old and they got married. She married her 4th husband a year ago. and they ride a motorcycle, or they used to ride a motorcycle. She's just an amazing woman. And to be sharing the message in 45 copies of the book. And who knows how many people she's told to buy it on Amazon. But that to me was a real compliment, that she thought enough of the book and wanted to share it with people.
That is a great compliment. I mean, to have that many books being sold is a compliment.
Yeah.
Absolutely. So awesome. So we're almost up to the hour. So what is it, and what your plans going forward with this community and with the movement, and what do you got going on in the future, and how are you going to shine in the future? I'm always going to put the shine in there somewhere, because really we're just energy. We're just vibrating all the time. So.
Well, we're going to get people together in workshops and webinars, and we're going to learn how to shine, learn how to share our gifts. Those 3 things that I said about this movement: find your voice, speak your truth, and change the world. And so we're going to be working on those things individually in coaching programs, group coaching programs, and then in webinars online. And, now we're starting to do things live. So I want to do some live, bringing people together so that we share that energy and we just multiply that energy to change the world. And, no matter what stage you're at or, where you are, if you're someone who can help someone else, or if you're there to learn for yourself and then help someone else, because that's how it works. You start one place and then you go on to help others. We're going to be building this community. And like I said, I don't want to get into overwhelm by saying this is exactly how it's going to happen. I'm taking it one step at a time and figuring it out as I go along. So, by joining the group, the Facebook page, my email list, we'd love to have people be part of that and let us know what you want. Because I'm flexible. I'm open to what's going to serve the community the best and what's going to serve the world the best.
That's fabulous. And you could be one of those people that are working from home and you think that you don't have anything to offer. But I really want to tell you, you do have something to offer. And you can be all over the world if it's not the personal in person, but to take a look at and get involved, because there's so many studies about how we as humans are hardwired to seek meaning in our lives.
Mm-hmm.
And this meaning can be right here with an amazing Lynn that will help you and nurture you, is an amazing coach and can help you to see that you do have the gifts. And maybe it is time to go through your story and release the story, but you have all the help you need right here.
Yeah. Well, and you asked me how I shine, but how I help others shine too is to help them be successful and to show them as successful, just like I did with the 50 women in the book, a little bit for each one. But let's work together and help each other as women, no matter what color, no matter what age, no matter what ethnicity, no matter what orientation. Let's work together to help each other shine and make this a better world.
There you go. I just love that. So we still have a few more minutes. So I'm going to ask you a really off the wall question.
Okay.
Okay. You really, Lynn, because I know, you know me, I'm going to get you. So if you could have dinner with anybody, who'd you have dinner with?
Living or not living?
Alive or dead? I mean, whatever that is.
I would have dinner with my paternal grandmother and ask her all these questions that as a kid, I never knew. I want to know about the family. I want to know about her background. I want to know about my grandfather's background. And she died when I was a young child. I think I was, 11 or 12. And so I didn't get to know her really well. I didn't get to know her as an adult at all. Yeah. And I would just love to sit down and have that long, what did you do? All these different things. I've got this fascination with the history of, how did we get here?
How did we get here?
Because she was a woman who was divorced in the 1920s with 2 children.
Oh, you didn't do that in the 1920s.
You didn't do that then. And she was a flapper. I remember her red fingernails. She'd let me paint her toenails red, but she wouldn't let me touch her red fingernails. And when she was younger, she had red hair. I think that's maybe where I get the genes for the red hair. And she was just this spunky, wonderful, fun-loving, fun, great grandmother. Oh, and she smoked, but that was in the 50s.
Everybody did back then. They didn't know.
Yeah. But I just want to know more about what she knew.
Oh, that's perfect. Well, we have a few more minutes. So Is there anything that you want to ask or that you want to add on? Because I can ask you another question or get another person for dinner. But